Good evening, everyone. How are you all? Good evening, all of you. Hello, Diksha. Good to see you too. Hi, Ananta. Kamakshi. Good evening. Hello, Abhishek. Hi, Arohi. How are you all? Hello, Div. What's up? All good? So, welcome to another episode of Booster Vocabulary with me. And what we're going to be doing today is very similar to what we did last time. With idioms, we're going to do some words also alongside so that you're able to do both idioms and words in combination. And also some bit of Mentee. Garishma, how long will this class? I think this should go on for about 9:30-35 at the most. Okay. Good evening, Harshita. I am perfectly fine, Diksha. Thank you. Starting vocab classes today. So Garishma, पीछे वाली classes भी देखते रहना. So start from latest to oldest. I am good, Ishani. Right, wonderful. So I hope that you had a nice day so far and that I don't ruin it further. It's a Friday, it's a weekend, so hoping कि आप लोग कुछ enjoy कर रहे होगे, जिंदगी के मजे ले रहे होगे. It's an extended weekend to this time around. Did you do anything exciting? Anything that you did which was nice? I don't know how many of you are KGF fans. I've heard like so many people tell me, "Ma'am, KGF release हो गई है, ये है, वो है," and all of that. I was like, okay, if that makes any difference. हमारा weekday weekend कुछ नहीं होता. That is right. हाँ, see, that's what I was saying. Abhishek, देखा? Hello, Mayank, Amrita, Krishna. You watched, okay? Went out with friends, okay. Dasvi was nice. Dasvi was a good movie. I mean, a movie that I would generally enjoy. KGF, I haven't watched the first one either. In fact, I haven't watched Bahubali either. I don't generally enjoy. I don't know. I shouldn't say this, but I don't generally enjoy South Indian movies for some reason. But yeah, this movie is so nice. भगवान, इसका मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकती. You have about 40 minutes to jailify me, and then you can do whatever. You can sleep also if you want. ठीक है. You finished Batman. Oh, nice, nice. It was with Batman. It was like I chose the wrong time to watch Batman. I booked up my tickets were about 11:30 at night. Okay, and that movie is a 3-hour long movie, and I slept I think twice or thrice in the movie Batman. Man, my people were like, why are you wasting your time and money and everything? I can't help it. It's getting a little boring. Acha, yes, today was Vishu. Yes, happy Vishu. For all those who celebrated Baisakhi also and Good Friday, all of that. Greetings for that. लड़ाई शिड़ाई होती है मूवी में. And not just that, but one of the things. चलो, start करते हैं first idiom से. तो obviously you have to tell me what the idiom is. I'm giving you hints for the idiom. You need to tell me what it is. I mean, let's analyze the picture. You see that every crayon in the box is, sharp. There's one. Hello, Vidhi ma'am. That's nice to have around. Okay. So if you see that there is a blunt, this thing, what would you judge about this box or about this picture? Who will you say? Unique. Okay, I'll tell you that it's a negative idiom. It is a negative idiom. Like it's supposed to not mean anything good. Odd one out of the box. Okay, there is an idiom which basically means somebody who is dull, okay, or blunt. Like if I tell you that somebody intelligence wise is blunt, what would you think about that person? क्या meaning समझ में आता है when you say that somebody intelligence wise is blunt? I'm not saying how he speaks to other people. No, I mean intelligence की तरह से. Maybe that person is not sharp, right? So dumb. The way that you can remember this is again through that crayon box. The idiom is not the sharpest tool in the box. Not the sharpest tool in the box. Okay. There are other variations of this idiom. One of them is not the sharpest tool in the shed. Then there is not the sharpest crayon in the box. That's another variation. And not the sharpest pencil in the box. That's also another variation. Kota sikka types. 1 second. No. Doesn't kota sikka mean no, I don't know. Does kota sikka mean useless? I think that's what it means. Or does it mean somebody who can betray? Like I've heard people use it in that sense as well. So I think, you know, what you should be doing is तुम लोगों को हिंदी की class मुझे देनी चाहिए, मुझे तुम लोगों को English की class देनी चाहिए. Because I mix up a lot of idioms there. Panauti types, useless. Acha, theek hai. So we can kind of say that, all right. So not the sharpest pencil or not the sharpest tool in the box or in the shed means somebody who lacks intelligence is stupid. Okay, unknown means bad. Okay, got it. Panauti types, got it. Okay, so you can look at some words that you can relate with the idiom dunce, dolt, imbecile. These are words that we have done earlier, which means somebody who's stupid and not very intelligent. So that is dunce, dolt, and imbecile. Obtuse also means the same thing. When you're saying obtuse, somebody who's blunt. And when I say blunt, I mean in terms of mental sharpness. That person doesn't have any, which is why obtuse then becomes somebody who is dull. A dullard is again a person who's stupid, right? Barmy is also dumb. So those are the words that you can remember for this idiom, not the sharpest tool in the box. So I wouldn't give him the project. He isn't the sharpest tool in the box. That means he isn't the most intelligent person I know, or is actually quite dumb. So I wouldn't give him the project. So that's the word dunce, dolt, imbecile. Actually, you know what? This is also a figure of speech. There is a figure of speech. Now, I am assuming that most of you have done your VA9s, right? Just mostly figures of speech discuss हुई है. So there was this figure of speech which I'm sure must have been discussed, which are called litotes. Any idea what they are? Any idea what litotes are? करा हुआ है ये. In VA9, you must have discussed figures of speech, and this must be one of them. Any idea? So here you're saying he's not the sharpest tool, which means he is actually the most blunt tool. So when you use negative or opposite words to describe something, that's when you use litotes. Opposite words to describe your intention. So for example, I say she, and we say not bad. When we say something's not bad, what do we really mean? We mean that something's actually quite good. Okay, that's what the connotation is, right? So I say, oh, not bad. And so that means it's something that's actually quite impressive and quite good. So that's an example. Don't take it other way. Like you're not a beauty queen, which means then you are. So when you're saying that you're not this, which means the opposite. Okay, so you're not a beauty queen would mean ki haan, okay? Like it's not the cheapest, which means it's actually quite expensive, correct? So all of that is litotes, right? So when you're using not the dash, which means it's quite the opposite of that. So not the best is the worst, not the easiest, meaning it's actually quite difficult, so on and so forth, right? So that's actually a litotes. It's a figure of speech also, which I would like you to note. Okay, let's head to the next idiom/word, and for that you have on your screens, hold on, the image, right? I would like you to analyze the picture a little. There's this word true written, and I would also like you to describe the picture to me. What is the picture? Calling a spade means something that's straightforward. Okay, but picture को describe करोगे, so true लिखा हुआ है. In what color is it written? True लिखा है in what color? And that will basically give you the idiom. True blue. Exactly. True blue is the idiom. All right. So true written in blue, that's basically what the idiom is. True blue, which means somebody who is very loyal. Okay. Extremely loyal. So when you call somebody a true blue person or a true blue in general, then that means that person is very loyal, will never betray you, will always stand by you whenever you need that person, faithful, exactly, trustworthy, unwavering in one's commitment. When I say unwavering, I mean that that person will not change the stance, या फिर like that person will stay there, that person will definitely not yield and not leave your side. That is true blue. So a stalwart or a staunch person or a steadfast person or an unflinching one, all of these mean somebody who is true blue. Fidelity will be true blue. Infidelity will be the opposite. Okay? So you don't have to worry about Kim. She's a true blue, which means she's very loyal. She's steadfast. She's unflinchingly loyal to you. That means that person will not leave you by us and will stay by your side even till the very last time, let's say. And so that is what true blue word means. Okay. Let's head to the third idiom. Can be used in a negative manner? No. It does not mean somebody jo bootlicking karta hua or anything of that sort. You can't use it in a negative sense. Okay? All right. For the next idiom, you have this picture. She's the opposite of true blue. Ye keh sakte hain. All right. So what it looks like is this person is upset and is throwing something. Throw in the towel. Exactly. Very good. So that is the idiom. All right. He looks tired. He looks defeated, and he's throwing in the towel. That's what. In that relation, is it available on? It may be available on the channel of Pratham Test Prep with LR faculties taking that. So to accept the defeat per se, that is throwing in the towel. So admit defeat because you know you can't succeed any further, or that there's no chance of you're becoming a victor, and so then that means you are throwing in the towel, you're accepting defeat. This idiom is often used in boxing rings, all right, where if they are, let's say they've given up, so they throw in the towel that I've accepted it and I'm not. So concede defeat, which means comply and be like, okay, I am not going to fight anymore. I have accepted the fact that I'm losing. That's conceding defeat. Yielding in, that means again giving up. Succumb also again means to comply, to give up, give in to the pressure, accept that you are submissive in this situation and that you have you're not going to compete anymore. That is throwing in the towel. Arohi, kick the bucket. That is the idiom. Kick the bucket, which means to die. All right, 3 of the original 5 candidates for the Democratic presidential nomination have now thrown in the towel, which means that that person has, those 3 out of 5 candidates have given up. Like they are not going to compete anymore. They know that they don't stand a chance, and so they're done. If we are talking about past, thrown and threw, correct. Have lagaya to V3 thrown. I threw in the towel is past. That's correct. Show the white flag. That's the same. Yes. Throw in the towel and show the white flag. They're the same. Okay. Chalo, next पे चलते हैं. fourth, I believe, right? That's your picture. How would you describe this picture to me? How many left for Mentee? This is the fourth, and then we'll move to the fifth, and then that's that. Okay. Big brain. Big-headed, okay. Big-headed is actually a close idiom to the one that we're going to discuss. Swollen head. Very good. ठीक है. So इस idiom के लिए, इस picture के लिए, right, there is another idiom which I'm not discussing, but can also be used as somebody who is thick-headed. What do you understand by a thick head or a thick-headed person? What do you think can this one mean if a person is thick-headed? Like there was this, I don't know which, Moti buddhi, exactly. So somebody who's stupid, again, is thick-headed, doesn't understand easily. That is thick-headed. Let's now go to big-headed and swollen-headed. Okay, so that's just another idiom which you could have probably confused this picture with. But to have a swollen head or a person who's big-headed is a person who's arrogant and that who feels that you are superior to others, right? So that means that person feels ki main hi main hu types, and they're superior. They feel that they're superior to others. That is having a swollen head. So to be arrogant and feel that you're superior, then you can use words like conceited. Conceited, again, somebody who has a lot of vanity. And so by vanity, I mean a lot of arrogance. Okay. Supercilious, who thinks that, you know, again, that person's superior, other people are inferior. Haughty also means arrogant. When you have a smug smile, you also again mean you have that arrogant smile on your face, that look on your face, which basically shows, you know better than others. That is smug. And imperious. Imperious, people who, behave a little, or maybe kind of talk to people in a very oppressive way or a very dominating way because they think that, they are like the kings and the queens, and then other people are just like random people. So that is having a swollen head or somebody who's big-headed. Both mean somebody who's very conceited, haughty, arrogant, smug. So there's no point appreciating him. He has a swollen head. That means there's no point उसको तो उसकी तारीफ करने का कोई फायदा नहीं है, because he is very, very proudy and he is haughty and arrogant. So instead of taking that as a compliment, he'll feel that okay, he just has gotten one other affirmation as to the fact that he's superior, that kind of thing, right? So that is swollen head. Last idiom के लिए, let's look at this picture. What does this picture imply? What do you think? Can you infer from the picture? What are we going to talk about? What do you think is this picture talking about? He has a trophy in his hand. Success. Victory. Absolutely correct. So the idiom that we can use for this is carry the day. Right? If somebody carries the day, that means has become victorious and who has won and triumphed. Okay, there is somebody who wants to meet you. 8 seconds. So he came here just to kind of say hi. I think he just kind of realized कि मैं किसी से बात कर रही हूँ और ये किससे कर रही हूँ. He couldn't really make out, so he was here, just kind of saying hi to everybody. Okay. On that note, let's move forward. Okay, and I think somebody, was it Anandita who was saying, ma'am, class में आप doggy नहीं लाते. So there's the dog. Okay. See, yeah, he's very cute. He's still here. कि बात किससे हो रही है? There's nobody there. I couldn't see anybody. Who is she talking to? Okay, so yeah. So carry the day is to be victorious. All right, to win, triumph. The other idiom that you can use is gain the palm. Okay, gaining the palm also means to be victorious in your endeavor. What's his name? His name is Groot. He's a teacup palm. His name is Groot. Okay, right. So that is that. So after a lot of efforts by the team, it finally carried the day, which means it finally triumphed, it finally won, became victorious, gained the palm. Right? Can high spirits be used? High spirits means somebody who's really enthusiastic and also a little happy. So that's different. This being in high spirits can be like a consequence of carrying the day, right? That can be one way of looking at it. Ki, you know, consequence of carrying the day would be the other person is in high spirits. But high spirits definitely just means happy and excited and enthusiastic. Okay. Yes, he is actually named after that character. I carried the day is absolutely correct. My mom would never let me. I know. In fact, this was one of the things my mom actually became very, very adamant about. Ki mujhe chahiye. It was the other way around at our house. Ki mom was wanting a dog and we never wanted, you know, this might just not be the best thing. Okay. Who's behind me? Nobody. They're cute. All right, so I hope कि ये चीजें समझ में आ गई होंगी. Right. Oh, that's just that. So that's the reason. That's one of the reasons why I want to keep a, because it's just like too much attachment, and that becomes a little difficult. Yeah, I know most of the parents will know. So almost all my life I've heard this one dialogue जो हर parent अपने बच्चों को बोलता होगा that I have a dog and that's more for me. I don't need another one. I've been hearing that ever since. पर जब से I don't know, suddenly it was just like one of the things. Exactly, that's what they say, right? तो मैं चल रहे हैं वही बहुत. Okay. So आज का Mentee is going to be on figures of speech. Okay. And it should not be difficult. मतलब थोड़े obvious figures of speech use किए हैं. Litotes मैं आपको already बता चुकी हूँ. कुछ ऐसे होंगे जो शायद आपको नहीं पता होंगे. तो then use the method of elimination. Do that elimination वाला method use करो to get your answer. Okay, you have 15 seconds to answer each of these questions. Code is 19803035. That's your code for the day. 19803035. Okay, and a lot of you have already had, most of you have had VN9 very recently in your batches. So I am pretty sure that, you know, literary devices or figures of speech shouldn't be too much of a problem for you people now. Okay, I'm going to wait for just a couple of seconds and then we will begin. You have 15 minutes to answer, even though you don't know the meaning of a certain idiom, meaning of a certain figure of speech. Use the method of elimination to get to your answers. Ki agar ye sentence, a specific sentence doesn't look like, let's say, metaphor and simile, then could be a choice, could be a possibility that it's the third figure of speech. That's just my tip for you for this Mentee. Chalo, start karte hain first question se. On your screens, everyone. To err is human, to forgive is divine. Okay, very good. It's antithesis. Now let's just kind of understand the rest of the two. पहली बात oxymoron आप लोगों ने schools में किया होगा, I'm sure. When you had done oxymoron, it was basically two opposite words put together, right? So for example, there's this series which is called Walking Dead. Have you seen that series or heard about it? So let's say Walking Dead. They're quite opposite words, right? Walking, which means alive. Dead is quite the opposite, right? So that is an oxymoron. Basically using two opposite words together, that is Oxymoron. For example, there was this other very funny one that one of the students said is happily married. Okay, again, two very opposite words used together, opposite contexts used together. So that is oxymoron. Irony is an amusing incident. Like an incident जो होना नहीं चाहिए था but हो गया. So for example, think about, you know, police station getting robbed. Okay, police station getting robbed, yeah, police getting robbed. That is that's irony. That's like a very amusing incident. कि ये कैसे हो सकता है? All right. So that is that. The Night of the Living Dead. Huh. That was another. I think it was a movie. The Night of the Living Dead. That's an oxymoron. Marriage counselor getting a divorce. Exactly. Labor days of loss. Hanji. That's oxymoron. So irony is marriage counselor getting a divorce. या फिर I don't know, bank going into debt, right? So these are things that are ironical. Like these are not things that should happen, but when they happen, it becomes amusing. कि यार ये कैसे हो गया, right? That's irony. Oxymoron is two opposite words used together. Antithesis is two very opposing ideas put in a sentence, not together, but two opposing ideas put in a sentence. याद है वो this movie कभी खुशी कभी गम, right? That's antithesis. Two opposite ideas, khushi and gum put together, not contradicting each other, but just like put together in a sentence. That is antithesis. Kabhi khushi, kabhi gum. To err is human, to forgive is divine. So on and so forth. Shreya, I'm giving wrong answers. ये नहीं ऐसा हो सकता है. जो सोचो वो नहीं होता लाइफ में irony ही है. Pretty ugly, liquid gas. All of that is oxymoron. बिल्कुल ठीक है. Right. So I hope that these three figures of speech are clear. All right. 24 of you have answered. So let's just very quickly see who all have answered this correctly. Aishmin has answered this correctly, and the fastest to have answered is also Aishmin. Okay, wonderful. Yay. Let's go to the next question. Next question on your screens. He has many mouths to feed. Very good. It is Synecdoche. Now let's understand what Synecdoche, simile, and personification are. Okay. Synecdoche is when you are talking about a part of a whole. Basically, एक whole का एक छोटा सा part लेके उसको refer करना, that is synecdoche. So when you say many mouths to feed, you're obviously not just feeding mouths. You are feeding the entire person, but you're just referring to that whole person as mouth, right? That is synecdoche, a part of a whole. So for example, he has 3 working hands in his house. Now, what I mean by working hands is not that this one person has 3 hands which work. That doesn't make sense. I mean there are 3 people, 3 sets of hands, so 3 people who work with him. So 3 working hands here does not mean just hands. I mean that there are 3 people, and hands of course is a part of a whole being humans, part being hands. Understood, Synecdoche? Similarly, if they say the party is on a per head basis, again per head would mean, you know, that the whole of the persons invited. Per head is just like a part of the larger whole, which is humans, right? So that is that. When you use simile, you're comparing using words like and as. So she's as beautiful as a picture, as pretty as a picture, so on and so forth. That's simile. As या like लगाते हैं तो simile लगती है. Personification is when a thing or a non-living thing is given human characteristics. Okay. For example, the clouds danced with the wind. Now, clouds dancing is a very human characteristic. Dancing is a very human thing to do, but it's the clouds doing it. That means it's personification. Similarly, the river bounced around, again, bouncing, human characteristic, but river doing it would then become a personification. Metaphor is when you're comparing two things without like or as. Okay. I hope that that's clear. Those three figures of speech are clear. The pigs are corrupted as the politicians. See, pigs being corrupt can be personification also. But when you're saying as corrupt as the politician, then that's similar. Okay? All right, let's go to the next point. So for the leaderboard today, it looks like Ashmin's still on top, I believe. Yes, she is. Wonderful. And also the fastest is Ashmin and Ujjwal both. Wonderful. Chalo. Next पे चलते हैं, question number 3. India will play the finals this year. It is a metonymy. Can't be an irony. It's not an irony. It's not like a thing that is not supposed to happen but happens. Like, I mean, despite whatever people might say. When you say India will play the finals this year, what do I mean by India? India stands for what? What do we understand? We're saying India. Obviously, India as a country is not playing, right? The country pura ut ke to nahi khelne wali hai. What do we really understand when we're saying India here? What do we refer to? India का मतलब यहाँ क्या है? Let's say it's a cricket finals. So then the team, correct. So Indian, let's say for example, this one is that we're referring to the Indian cricket team. So we are talking about the Indian cricket team, but we're using symbolism, India. India as a symbol we're using for Indian cricket team. That is metonymy. Metonymy is basically symbolism कि हम किसी चीज को किसी और तरीके से present कर रहे हैं, represent कर रहे हैं using symbols. For example, I discussed this with one of the batches earlier when we said pen is mightier than a sword. When you say pen is mightier than a sword, I don't mean, you know, pen in general is better than sword. I mean that, you know, pen can be referred to as education maybe, and sword can probably be your physical might. And so then what they're trying to say is, you know, that education, yeah, literacy is better than just faceless physical strength. So pen stands for education, sword stands for violence maybe. Okay, like crown, exactly. Bow down to the crown. The crown here would mean the king, the authority. All right, the White House again means the president, not necessarily just the White House, but you're talking about the president. So this is symbolism. That is what is symbolism, right? I hope that that's clear. Irony we've discussed. Let's go to the fourth question. Before that, let's look at the leaderboard. From your leaderboard looks like, okay, so Aishmin has still answered the fastest and she's still on top and Ujjwal second. Chalo. Next question. Question number 4. Death lay its icy hands on the king. All right, so 32 you have correctly answered this. Death lay its icy hands on the king. Now, death doing this action of laying its hands, it's a very human thing to do, right? Only humans necessarily can do this, that they can lay hands on something or somebody. Death is doing it. Death, a non-living thing or a thing that's an abstract concept. But giving a human characteristic to death here would mean that it is personification. Right? That's the reason why personification is correct and metonymy and irony is not. I hope that's clear. Right? कि यहाँ पे human characteristics define हो रहे थे for death, saying it laid its hands, and that's the reason why personification is correct. Okay. So, Ujjwal's the fastest. Aish means still on top. All right, let's go to the next question. Question number 5. It wasn't a best performance. This is exactly what we were discussing a while back. So we were discussing litotes. When you're saying it wasn't the best performance, that means it was actually one of the best, one of the worst, right? If it wasn't her best performance, then it was actually one of the worst performances that she's ever given. That's litotes. Metaphor is comparison without like or as. So when I say she is, let's say we say she is the light of my life, that means I'm saying that she's the light of my life. I'm not saying she's like the light. मैंने like नहीं लगाया यहाँ पे. तो हम without like या as जब compare करते हैं तो हम metaphor बोलते हैं उसे. Hyperbole is basically exaggeration. बढ़ा चढ़ा के बातें बोलना जबरदस्ती. That is exaggeration. फेंकना हवा में. Okay. So litotes we've discussed. It is when you are using opposite words to describe a concept. That is litotes. So when you say it wasn't her best performance, that means it was her worst performance. If something is not bad, that means it's actually quite good. If something is not very ugly, that means it's beautiful. So that is litotes, when you use opposite words to describe something. ठीक है, चलो. Leaderboard पे चलते हैं and IPM-IIM में they can ask you. There are times that they have had some really diverse questions, so you should be prepared. Okay, right. So we have Aishmin on top since she's the fastest, which was still second. Wow, that's like bottle. That's almost like neck to neck sort of situation going on here. 6th question पे चलते हैं. I shall describe euphemism at the end. Don't worry. Okay, next question. I'm comfortable with anything but all the things under the sun. It's paradox, right? Paradox is when you are contradicting your own self. That is paradox. So जैसे one of you had given me a wonderful example कि मुझ पे एक एहसान करना, मुझ पे कोई एहसान मत करना, right? That is paradox. You're contradicting your own self कि एहसान भी करो और एहसान भी मत करो. I know one thing that I know nothing. Again, that is paradox कि मुझे एक बात पता है कि मुझे कुछ भी नहीं पता है. Similarly, this sentence is I'm comfortable with everything but anything under the sun. मतलब मैं हर चीज से खुश हूँ, बस उन चीजों से खुश नहीं हूँ जो इस दुनिया में है. So that's paradox, right? How can that you can save money by spending it, correct? The rules are that there are no rules. Exactly. So that's all paradox. Okay. Euphemism, Ayush, is जब हम किसी mean चीज को, when you are saying something very mean, but you're using very subtle words. So for example, हम crippled बोलते हैं. That's a very mean thing to say. So instead of crippled, we say differently able. Right? If somebody is retiring, you don't say that person's getting older is retiring. You say sunset years. So basically mean words को replace करके you use nicer words to say something that may be a little offensive. That's euphemism. Okay, let's go to the leaderboard. Oops. Right, so for our leaderboard, we still have Aishmin on top. Fat को chubby बोलते हैं. Actually, chubby भी equally offensive है वैसे, but healthy बोलते हैं fat को, healthy. So yeah, Aishmin still on top, and then you have Manya, who's the fastest this time. Wonderful. Let's go to the last question. My English teacher failed in her English exam. So this is obviously irony. Okay, something very, very amusing happened that your English teacher, she failed in her English exam. That's ironical. That's ironic in the sense that, you know, ये नहीं होना चाहिए था, but ये हो गया. And that makes it even more amusing. Yeah, okay, that's weird. So that is that. It is not exaggeration, so you can't use hyperbole here. It's not two opposite words put together, so you can't say oxymoron either. So it's just ironic. It's irony कि English teacher English में fail हो गए. ठीक है? चलो. So let's look at the leaderboard and see who has finally carried the day. It is Aishmin and Ujjwal have been really consistent with their performance, and so has Lol. Lol has been on the 3rd position ever since I've seen. But congratulations, Aishmin! Yay! Wonderful. Ujjwal, Lol is then Mishti, then Uddhav, Groot, Harshita, Kitty, Cat, King Kohli's back, Tanisha, and Nandini. Okay. It was a cutthroat competition. I answered almost everything right, but didn't come in the leaderboard. Yeah, could be. I always get the last one wrong. Last वाला गलत हो गया. My ma'am, बुरा मानने वाली बात नहीं है. आप फेल हो गए तो क्या हुआ? हम पास होंगे. Yeah, but मैं एग्जाम ही नहीं दूंगी इंग्लिश का. मुझे प्रूव ही नहीं करना किसी को कुछ भी. ठीक है, चलो. On that note, take care of yourselves. Be good, stay safe. Have a very, very good night. I'm going to see you very soon. It's going to be on Monday. Until then, take care. Be inside. Bye, Vidhi ma'am. Good night. Chalo. Misclicked one answer and got down from the leaderboard. That's what happens. But I think this is more for learning. Aaj wala was a little more on learning wala aspect. So I hope that is done. Chalo. Bye bye all of you. Take care.